This week on Good Girls, I'm here with my co-host, Kay, and we are asking the question, are we dating the same guy? Now, Kay and I are obviously not asking ourselves this question because that would be a different story for us being both old marrieds, but diving into
If
the...
you want to date my husband with his 2 young kids and obsession with hockey, then, it's love, and you can have him.
Ladies, letting me know Mr. K is available. This is what I wonder about men who have secret families. I'm like, that just sounds like so much work. Having one family is a lot of work. Why would you have 2 of them? And expensive.
Even my dad's very, very in love with my mom, but I'm one of 7 kids, and when this question was posed, he's like, "I mean, mom would have to understand that if somebody wanted a man with 7 kids, it was something."
She would have to move over. So anyway, we're going to get into... This is your other co-host, SJ. Didn't introduce myself. And as usual, we're going to cover some not safe for work content. Although I don't know how raunchy this is going to get. This is more of a societal question. So we had some friends talking recently about experiences on these Are We Dating the Same Guy Facebook pages. There is also an app. And so we wanted to dive into that a bit today. My first question for you, Kay, if there were a Are We Dating the Same Woman website in your dating days, what is the worst thing that a guy who went on a date with you would have posted about baby K?
Well, there's probably many
No.
things they could have posted that would make a guy be like, probably shouldn't take that time. But when I was thinking back to the various people who I dated, I think that it would be more that I went through not hair management phase. And I don't think I was trying to make a statement. I think that I just took a break.
Retroactively, you can apply whatever narrative you want. So you can say that it was your feminist awakening and that you were rejecting male beauty standards of body hair and reclaiming your womanhood.
I think it was really just that, at that point, I was only doing waxing, and so I would let things
You have to
build
let it
up
grow
before
enough
I
that the
got
wax has something to catch on to. Yeah.
So I actually know that one guy did make a comment on it and made a comment to other people, and so I know that something about, the bush and the forehead. And that would be pretty mortifying to have online, and I wanna say that, we couldn't even hold it against guys that they're doing that, because I have been on these Facebook pages of Are We Dating the Same Guy? And man, do we blast some of these men for stuff that is not Are We Dating the Same Guy? It is way more just...
Right. And I was thinking, for my example, I was just I hung out with this guy one time and we went out together. And then, I basically ended up, I was just kind of in my messy phase and I ended up getting really drunk and then just crying and puking in the bathroom. And if you had
I'm
just
sorry that
that...
you were sad.
I don't even know what was going on. I was just discovering myself and asserting my womanhood, I guess. But I feel yeah, if you had that as just a one sample size date with me, then you'd be like, this bitch is crazy. Don't date her. I think it's also just this idea of even taking any kind of takeaways from a single snapshot. I mean, there have to be some things that are definitely yeah, if you know that a guy is legit cheating, if you saw him commit a crime, it's just kind of difficult to think about where that line should be of things that is yes, if you see that happen, post about it. And what are things that it's I don't know, you don't maybe know them that well. We all kind of have shitty days. Maybe it's enough to be this person wasn't right for me, but I'm sure there's somebody else
Yeah,
out there.
maybe I don't even need to comment about
Yeah,
it because
just
it just
keep your thoughts to
wasn't.
yourself.
And so a reason why we are doing this as a topic today is because a close guy friend of mine, and so I'll admit some bias there, but I have been friends with him for a decade. I have known that he is very slow to commit and very transparent about not wanting to commit with people. And when he was posted as is he a red flag or not? People posted commitment issues, drinks too much, all these different things, which were not in response to the basic question of, are you actively dating this person in a committed relationship? They were more just, to me, and again, this could be where my bias is, but to me, it read more as girls who were interested in him did want more and he didn't want more. And this was their
Now they're mad
chance
about
to,
it.
to err. And that didn't feel fair to me, and it didn't feel true to, like, the nature of what the site was originally intended for. But then the more I looked into it, it's very, very much so become a place where, like, somebody would
Kinda is,
post.
yeah.
Yeah, if it were, the male doing it to women, it would be something like, she doesn't shave for, like, a month when she's waiting for a wax, so gotta watch out for that. So, I don't know, and I think that there's, like, a kind of a weird line there where, don't make me feel bad for guys, and that's what that site's making me do.
I know, I don't wanna do that. So, to back up a little bit, if you are a listener who is like, "What is this?" Maybe if, like us, you have just been off the singles rotation for a while, and I don't really know how do you know how long these groups date back?
Are we dating the same guy? I would estimate that they started around 2015-ish.
So, actually, it only dates back to 2022 is what it says is the initial one in New York is what it dates back to, but then kinda spread out that this is, something that you see across cities, so they're city specific. The idea is supposed to be that it's women only in the group and that you can have a safe space to post about a guy, and the original intent was supposed to be so that if a guy was in a
Boyfriend,
committed
girlfriend.
relationship that you could check that he wasn't also going around and then, like, dating other women and telling them that they were exclusive with her, which seems like that on its surface is a helpful type of thing to have. I also learned so a lot of these questions of single life, I check with single sister of mine, and she is definitely always like on the apps, knows about these things, is also a flight attendant. So I feel like she really gets into some
Has
of
the
the
ultimate
drama.
dating life, should have a
Yes.
rom-com written about her.
She should. And it hopefully would definitely involve the page Are We Dating the Same Guy Pilot and Crew Edition. So there are some sector specific ones which especially make sense for the flight crew folks because there are some messy people in there. There are definitely some scummy cheating pilots. And so people post about it there. This particular page seems like they don't have a lot of thresholds about who can come on it. So we were looking through some posts. The wives of the pilots get on there too. So it gets so messy. So
Oh,
like
this is way more fun.
yeah, and it is also
And
just
this is,
because
like,
it's like
what the actual intention is, because the actual intention should be, like, catching cheaters. It shouldn't be
right,
like
and,
yeah.
like, pilots are a profession of people that are kind of known for, being more likely to cheat, but then it was also just, like so one posts this a wife, and she posts this little, like, Louis Vuitton, like, keychain bag, bauble kind of thing that she found in her husband's bag, and she goes onto this Are We Dating the Same Guy page and posts, "Does anybody recognize this? This was in my husband's bag. Like, I want to know if you're like cheating with that. My husband's married, blah, blah, blah." And we were looking at it and we were like, I mean, if you found this in his bag, I mean, maybe you know other things about him being a cheater that we just like don't get to hear about here. But I'm like, he could have this in his bag for so many other reasons. Like, he found it on the floor and like picked it up and was going to try to like put it in the lost and found. I mean,
She's
obviously, cheating's the
asking because she
most.
knows that she has reasons for suspicion. If we found that in, like, Mr. SJ or Mr. K's bag, we wouldn't think twice
Yeah, we would
about
just be
it.
like, "Oh,
Yeah.
obviously somebody
Weird.
dropped something in here." Yeah, it is a known thing, to the extent that one of the most common post types on this page is, flight attendants, because like, flight attendants, crew members will oftentimes, like, hook up on layovers, which if everybody's single is a lovely time, but there will be ones where a flight attendant is like, "I had a hookup with this pilot that I assumed was single, but I found out after we hooked up that he's married, and, like, I would absolutely never have gotten with a guy if I knew that he was married." So she's like, I found out, like, his wife's information and DM'd her to tell her that her husband's cheating on her and things like that, where I'm kinda like, "Okay, like, help a sister
So
out, I guess."
this is like a whole thing. Yeah. So I worked in a hospital environment in my 20s, and hospitals are horny, horny places, which is
Oh,
funny because
yeah.
hospitals, like,
I do watch a lot of the
not
TV.
horny, but
I've seen Grey's Anatomy, okay?
there is a lot of hookups and sex and all that, and
You're in
it's
these
funny
life or death
looking back.
situations, it really, like, gets you going.
I think it's, like, there's just the same thing as, pilots and crews, but you're there for, like, long, weird hours, and you're
Mhm.
on a different schedule than other people, and so it makes it that, like, your weekday is a weekend, all that stuff, and it creates
There's
more
no sense of time.
opportunities.
That is what I've heard is that, I saw a list of the professions that were had the highest levels of cheating in them. And I think some medical ones were on there. Flight attendants and pilots definitely on there. Realtors were another one. But the thing that you noticed in common about all of them was, like you said, this like opportunity to cheat is that you don't have a regular schedule. Even if your spouse was like, "Oh, where are you?" Like you had have reason to be in like different places at different times. Hospitals have beds in them, so you can just
Weird little
have your
offices
little
and sleep
cheating
rooms.
tryst on the bed that somebody's grandma probably just died in, so I don't know about these vibes.
That's not that's not how it happens. Nobody's trying to go to grandma's deathbed for a quickie.
They're
It's
just in
more
the
yeah,
offices.
it's more just that, like, there's off hours, there's all these things. There's, like,
There's
happy
the
hours
little break
at
room
7
thing.
AM after a night shift where you then go back to your house where nobody's at your house because they all go to their 9 to 5 and
Oh,
all
okay.
that.
Well, also, according to having watched Scrubs a lot in the 2000s, they do a lot of, making out in the little bunk beds in the room that they take naps in during their shift. Was that what I'm called?
Like, the residence sleep room, the off
Yeah,
room.
yeah. According to Scrubs, you make out with people a lot in there.
Also, everybody looks better in scrubs in a hospital setting. Like, if you see a physician grocery shopping on the weekends, you're like, "You're just a
Regular
pretty
guy.
average looking dude," but you see him in scrubs making decisions, and you're like, "Oh gosh, I must go down on you now." It's just a thing.
It's happened.
Yeah, it's proven. So, yes, it makes sense that there are some groups that pilots and crews Facebook "Are we dating now?"
If we want to keep that fun going, although this is gonna be the hardest one to break into, there is just a group that is pilots' wives. And they just, like, post Real Housewives style all the time about being wronged, and they have, like, made T-shirts together, and they just, like, basically, like, post in there this is very, tie into our, like, Christian schoolgirl upbringing of, like, the flight attendants are these dirty temptresses that, like,
It's all
tempt
their
their
fault.
loving,
Yeah.
honest husbands away with their ways and, I don't know, like, bare shoulders or something. So, I did tell my sister that should be her new objective is to
I was wondering on my latest flight, why can't flight attendants just wear like a cozy collared t-shirt or something? Are there other ways to make it that they're professional looking in a uniform that's not their uniform?
I feel I have asked my sister this before, and I feel like the aesthetic and the whole, like, we're part of this elite sorority with a little bit retro vibes is part of the whole just aesthetic and what makes it attractive because you have to make fun sorority things about it. Otherwise, you're just like, oh, you don't actually get paid that well. Like, you get the job perks, which are amazing, but your schedule is exhausting and crazy. And people basically act like animals from the moment that they
People
walk
are so bad on
into the airplane.
planes.
So I feel like you have to have some kind of mystique around the profession a little bit to make it attractive and to make it a little bit more sustainable for people to want to stay in this for the long term. So I feel like it is partly of having this like 1950s, 60s, like, stewardess vibe with the cute dresses and that they all, like, look really pretty and matching together because I have told her before, if you are just designing a uniform based on the description of your job performance things
It
that you
should
have to
not be
carry out,
this.
it would be
Yeah.
like you'd be dressed like a UPS driver because you would just want something that's, like, comfortable with those, like, cushy sneakers that nurses wear and, like, you know, some cargo shorts with lots of pockets for all your, like, bottle openers and stuff, but I think that
Cargo
she
shorts, not pants.
I think
Shorts.
that she bristled to
Keep
keep
them
you
tall.
cool. Or maybe, like, the pants that men wear hiking with the bottoms that zip off, so they could be, like, pants or shorts because you know that temperatures are extremely variable on the plane, so you need both a pants option and a shorts option. Major airlines of the US, I'm looking at you, please write me back.
The flight attendants
Read
are
my
like, "Please do
suggestions.
not give us cargo shorts."
I think that they should try them for a week, and anyway, they've done some much more heinous things to the flight attendants, like, sometimes they come out with new uniform standards for them, and they'll be like, "We collaborated with Zach Posen on these new uniforms that are, like, purple and red for some reason," and just, like, absolutely look like some kind of Project Runway task gone wrong, so I don't know, they
They
after all
could do
that,
worse.
they might be
Okay.
in for the cargo shorts, at least they're dependable.
So, going on the idea of are we dating the same guy? I don't know
Not
about
total
you.
sidetrack about flight attendant
Well,
uniforms.
the flight attendants can still come back. They are welcome in this conversation. But the whole idea that, like, with the internet, we're able to dig and find out so much more about people that we're dating than ever before, and, like, is that even a good thing? And is it even, like, an I don't know about ethical things that matters so much as, like, should we even know this much, and should we be able to make judgments of people, based only on what's online, which is, like, a small snippet of who a person is?
Yes. And for an example of that, I did get one from a friend of a friend. And so somebody showed him this guy, like this post on Are We Dating the Same Guy page. And it's just like all this awful things about him, similar to your friend. And my friend that shared this with me was like, I have known this guy for a really long time. Like we were just laughing at it together. I think that he's a wonderful human being, but obviously, like if you have a page where you're just like posting about people's worst qualities. So this is, yeah, somebody that she's like, he's great. He's a lovely person. People posting, I only met him once, key point. He's very rigid. We were playing a game and I tried to make it fun and he was not having it. A
He
few days
seemed
later, I
like
was joking
you.
with him and he low key went off on me. He will brag on himself about how smart he is, how much money he has, and then make you pay for your own food. And then he will proceed to eat half of it. And she's like, I feel
That's
like
so damning. Oh my gosh. I'm like,
it's so that makes
I
me sound like
trust you, but I'm
the
so
worst
turned
person.
off. Makes you pay for your own food and then eats half of it.
And then so all these girls are then like chiming in and she's like, because the original person who had said that says like, I don't know, but I feel like everything together is just like huge red flags for me. But like try it out. Maybe you will find better. Like, thanks for the little disclaimer. And then the girls are responding, women, like, nah, too many red flags. Definitely, he's so pathetic, gross.
Oh.
Then, meanwhile, like, you scroll down, there's another comment, and this is, like, you could just get all over the map. Great in bed. I mean, like, kind of unforgettable, and is packing, eggplant emoji, happy sweating face, gritting teeth.
Maybe this is also a friend, a burner
No,
account.
they didn't know her. I mean, I think he knew who it was. Sorry if that's too much, LMAO. Didn't make me pay for my own stuff. Invited me out more than once. Definitely try and get your own experience. I stopped talking to him because he wouldn't buy me something I asked for. But aside from that, he was
He
sweet.
wouldn't buy me something I asked for. Like,
So
what? What was
the
it?
story behind that is that this is apparently a thing sometimes, especially for women with OnlyFans pages, that they have Amazon wish lists and they will send a guy their Amazon wish list. And so he was like, I didn't, this seemed like a total, like, I didn't, you can't always tell the difference, he said, between like, if your date you don't know if somebody has an OnlyFans or not, so that's also, like, kind of a red flag. If a girl sends you her Amazon wish list, like, again, I'm a little like, ladies, if we were being reviewed on this page, I feel like you might not come off great.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah, women who have Amazon wish lists for their men, you know what? Go
I
for
mean,
you.
yeah, I'm also just like, good for you because I feel like we are living in a patriarchy controlled world. So like if you want to end like capitalism is king, baby. So like if you want to go get yours, like I'm all for it. I just feel like as long as people are on the same page about what they're looking to get out of it. So if you're in a
Yes,
place
in
where you're
this
looking
case,
for
this
something
man did
very
not want the
transactional,
Amazon wish
then and yeah, and I feel like you should be clear about that. And maybe that should be more of like a place where sugar babies and sugar daddies are looking for each other than just random dating pages. And I feel like what we run into with a lot of these are we dating the same guy kind of Facebook pages and other apps is that like you don't know, there isn't any kind of shared communication or value about like, is this person somebody who has like even made very clear that like they're not looking for something serious and they are in like maybe several non-exclusive relationships at the same time versus people like the pilot husband who are straight up cheating.
I'm just wondering, like, should we also start an OnlyFans and have an Amazon wish list? Like,
I'm
I have some items that I wouldn't buy for myself.
how do you feel about your feet? Like, how would you say men that you've been with have rated your feet overall? Because I
Really
feel like,
low.
oh,
Or the other stuff. I'm not a groomer.
oh, that's true. I guess you've got to be somebody who really keeps up with your feet. I mean, at this point, though, can't you just like AI generate some feet pictures? And I mean, try it out, right?
Yeah. Oh gosh. Maybe I just need to get a pedicure and then an OnlyFans. I feel like if there are it's not them, it's me. Like, the feet themselves are nice feet.
Oh,
I just need to take better care of them.
okay, so there's something there. I mean, it's just
It's not
always
because
good.
she's all that glow up.
You just have to take your glasses off of your feet.
Yeah.
I don't wanna think about what that means for feet. I'm just foot fetish is not my thing. Yeah. So I'm
I was gonna say, like, an unpleasant joke about, like, yeah, they just get never mind. Okay.
I had a professional experience with a boss that had a foot fetish that led to him getting fired, but that is a story for another episode. Meanwhile, on this whole "Are we dating the same guy?" thing, so I do wanna talk about the pros a little bit, and we mentioned that in the beginning because I think that these pages in their original, uh the idea of them is something that's good, and you still kinda see some of that happening, on non-Facebook things as well. Like, hey, how do you feel about the things where people will post on TikTok and Facebook, like, overheard conversations or something, where it'll be like you're sitting next to somebody on a plane and you're like, "Hey, girls out there, like, if you are dating somebody named Joe who, works as a engineer here, you should know that he was, like, calling somebody while he was on the plane and talking about how he was gonna, like, secretly meet up
So,
with you." Like, so
my
they, like,
feeling
overhear
is that
something
the
out of
chances
context.
the chances that an influencer with a big following is also in that situation on a plane. I go on so many plane rides. I have gotten on so many plane rides in my life. I have never once overheard anything like that.
True.
That it makes me wonder if they're actually doing it for engagement farming and for clicks, and then they're ruining some poor Joe in engineering's life because now his
I mean,
girlfriend
I guess
does
you
see
could
it,
also
but
just
I
be
don't know.
making it up too, right? Because like, if you're saying, like, the likelihood of it actually happening, then I feel like you could just, like, take a picture of something and then, like, provide details that wouldn't actually lead back to,
But it's
like.
an actual human that they took a
Yeah,
picture
yeah,
of, and
yeah,
so what if
fair.
that actual human had a girlfriend or a wife, and it's like, "What? I, like, didn't even say anything
Yeah, or you,
on the
like,
call."
posted, like, fake identifying details, but that does actually correspond to a real person who didn't do anything and is like, "What the
Yeah.
hell?" Yeah, that is very true, although I will also say that when I get on planes and stuff, I am 0% paying attention to anything that
You're
goes on around me, other than, like, one time I was on a flight leaving the country and, like, Customs and Border Patrol came on and, like, arrested this, like,
Oh.
old man and dragged him off of the plane. Um then I took off my headphones and I was like, "Oh, what's, going on here?" And this was before video phones, otherwise I would have, like, filmed it for, like, bystander witnessing. But other than that, I'm mostly just putting on my headphones and immediately trying to convey at the highest degree possible that I do not wanna have a conversation with the random guy next to me who does not share the armrest. So, honestly, all kinds of cheating scandals could be going down right next to me, and I would have no idea.
So, I think that are we dating the same guy in general, and the idea of, like, women looking out for women is a good idea, where I think it goes too far and where I wish that there was more moderation. Is that I think that if you don't actually have something that is criminal, bad, creepy to
Mhm.
report on somebody, if it's really just that he made you split the bill, that's not something that should be reportable on
No,
Facebook,
he
and it
made
should
you
be
pay for your
moderated.
half and then ate half of your food. That's so specific and damning, and
He
I
probably
wanna.
hated her and didn't see it as a date, and so they split the bill, and then she was like, "I'm not gonna eat this, do you want it?"
I
He was like,
actually I
"Whatever."
actually want single sister to come on or have her, friend come on and testify about, have him testify in his favor of, what actually happened here just to clear his name for the records, and then we can go post on his behalf because that sounds so oddly specific. But
I would always unless the person really, really insisted and was very, very forceful about it, rejected multiple efforts, I always tried to pay for my first date half because I felt like otherwise I owed the person, and I
yeah.
hate the feeling of owing a person.
So you would not, instead of offering to pay, instead give the guy your Amazon wish list in addition to letting
Yeah,
him pay?
instead, he just bought me, like, socks and batteries. The important things, yeah.
This is what ladies truly want. No, I agree. I mean, I think that that's, like, the biggest thing is when you look at what's actually on these pages, it's just, like, spilling tea about people that you have met maybe one time, it seems like a lot of these posts, and so when we think back to, like, experiences that we have given other men on dates that we've been on, and I'm like, "Yeah, if you had that one date with me where I was just, like, crying and drunk in the bathroom, you would have terrible things to say about me." But in reality, I'm delightful, and I'm very rarely actually crying and drunk in a bathroom. So, I think that, I deserve for people to get to know me, and honestly, probably so do most of these men. But it's also this anonymity and, like, random stranger aspect of it that I think is, like, the part that makes a lot of the data on here just completely worthless, because we should recognize the difference between a trusted friend of, like, if we were in our dating days and you were saying to me, like, "Oh, I know this guy, I dated him, whatever, and I had this experience," that would be very meaningful to me instead of these random hoes on the internet. Is kind of like, if I don't know you, like, the value of the information that I get from you is directly related to, like, how much of a ridiculous person you are, or yeah, indirectly related, I guess. But, yeah, anyway, so I feel like it's like you're getting all these posts from women, and that one on there, for example, is obviously these ladies' experience was all over the map. And so, like, whose experience do you trust? Because you don't know them. So you don't know, like, what you have in common with them and if you would have reacted the same in that same situation.
Even among friends, like Mr. K's friend group had set him up with this girl who he really did not like, and he quickly realized within 15 minutes, like, wow, you couldn't be a worse match. And so he didn't pay for her meal and insisted that they don't go to another place. And so she heeded him and reported to the friends, this is not a guy who anybody wants to date. You absolutely should not recommend him to other girls. And so when, like, I came along, like, as the person who he was dating, they're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, we're so shocked." Like, based off of his experience
Why
with
would you
that
date
girl.
such a shitbag?
So it also shows us, like, I don't know, like, he might just not have been interested in you and not wanted to, like, not I don't know.
That's fair. Even with people that I do know, I feel like a thing that I have learned as I have become a more like mature grown up is to not take secondhand opinions about people at all, even from people that I do know pretty well. Cause it's like, yeah, you might just have a different experience, or that person might have been like having a bad day and then made a bad impression on someone. And I know how it can be that it's like, once somebody's made a bad impression on you, then you're kind of interpreting everything that they do in a bad light. But, like, if I don't have that personal bad experience with that person, I don't need to carry in that negative experience from before, and if you can go in with, like, an open mind, as long as we are avoiding these, like, actual, yeah, like, safety kind of things, like guys who are true red flags, but it really seems like the people on these apps do not have the on these Facebook pages too, don't have the ability to distinguish between real red flags and not real, and I honestly think for a lot of the things of, like, if you find a guy who is, like, truly cheating, like the flight attendants, it's like, you don't need a Facebook group for that. You can just be like, "Oh, man, this guy is, like, such a terrible person. I will, like, do Facebook research to find out his wife's identity so I can DM her and do the good work," but you don't need a Facebook page to do that, and that can be just between you and the wife.
Absolutely. So going back to the past, do you
Time
remember
machine.
the Lulu app?
Uh
Because I certainly remember the Lulu app.
So, yeah, in 2011, so this is a true blast from the past, and I really feel like this was just, like, maybe a brief 3-year window where it was like a beautiful shooting star of chaos
It
in the
was
night,
truly a beautiful shooting star.
and then it just, like, burned itself to death. So the point of the app was to allow women to rate men. So their idea was to create this dating compass for women so that you can be smarter while you're dating, according to the two women creators, to help women
Or just, like,
find
make fun of
their
your guy
Prince
friends.
Charming and do the research along the way. Yeah, so you were really open to being able to review any guy who you were Facebook friends with. This was definitely the heyday of Facebook when this started out. And so you would log in as a woman on Facebook, and then it would automatically pull all of your male friends on there in the platform and give
It
you
was so amazing.
the ability to rate any of your male friends. And they would have like quizzes where it'd be like, oh, in 10 years, this guy is going to be like wearing, and then you could do a little multiple choice. They had like hashtags like hashtag will watch rom-coms or hashtag hate sprudge. So you could just like rate all of these guys. And this was just like this brief moment in time. They first launched at 2 colleges, and within 3 weeks, 60% of the women at these colleges were using the apps, and 40% of men were available for rating.
How frightening for men. I This was the one that I referenced earlier where
Ah.
my friend was on it and just kept on getting doxxed for manscaping.
Yeah, this
Manscaping.
app was,
Well,
like, so cruel, like, people just posted whatever. It had 6 million active users at its peak, but this was part of the, key flaw in Lulu. 1 million of those in this supposedly, like, all women helping out women,
we're
1 million
men.
of them were men. So it did get acquired in 2016 by a bigger dating company, Badoo, which I didn't know.
And did a bad job, obviously.
Yeah, well, the first thing that they did was shut down the highly controversial rating feature, but I also feel like that was kind of there's plenty of apps out there where you can, like, swipe on dating people
Oh,
and
there's, like,
stuff.
doesn't Barstool do, like, a woman every day, like a college girl every
Yeah,
type of
exactly, and
yeah.
whether, like, on a formal app or not, I feel like women are getting rated all the time. I actually remember when I was in college, the website ratemyrack.com, and I will say that theoretically,
Was your
the
rack
website
rated?
no, not that I know of, but again, the idea was that you would post a picture of your own rack to the website for people to rate if you were curious and wanted men's thoughts on such things, but I feel like there was really no controls for them to be able to, like, independently verify that it is indeed your own personal rack and that you weren't, like, posting pictures of your girlfriend's boobs or something, so I'm just saying women have been unfairly put on rating scales for the longest time, so I was here for the Lulu chaos.
So, going way back in 8th grade, I was shared an AIM message or an AOL Instant Messenger message from a guy who was going through all the different girls in the neighborhood, and for me, it was kinda chubby but nice rack.
Oh, no.
And I was like, "Huh, that's alright." And to be fair, I was post boarding school, and I was definitely chubby then. I was 30 pounds heavier than I am now, so
So,
it was a thing, but
mind your own
but the boobs
business.
were looking good.
Phew, at least he likes my boobs.
Yes. I honestly was like, "John likes my boobs?" Yeah. That's fine that he thinks I'm chubby, I can work with that.
I do feel like that was an age where I had not learned, the difference between attention from men that I, asked for and attention from men that I didn't want, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, this boy is paying
Yeah.
attention to me."
"Oh, thanks,
And
yeah,
now I'm
I'll
like
chub it up for you."
and now I'm like past self. I wish that somebody had coached you more on being like, "Screw these boys." I actually had that experience. My daughter, got a super cool new water bottle for Christmas from a friend, and she was crying when I picked her up from school and just tried to leave it on the sidewalk, and I was like, "I thought you loved your K-pop Demon Hunters water bottle." And she was like, "No, I don't wanna bring it anymore. People were making fun of it." And I was like, we've had some issues
Oh.
with the boys in the class because I think they're just at that age where they're also like their idea of like being fun is like ribbing each other and then also I'm sure that they're at that age where they're like, "Oh, this is how we like flirt and interact with girls is by making fun of them," which not okay. I am not telling her boys will be boys, but I was just like, so who said this about your water bottle? Like everyone
We can
or
talk about it afterwards, 'cause I'll find out
boys?"
too. I know some of the
Yes,
in
but
those
I was like,
things.
I know who some of them are, and I honestly don't think that they mean anything by it. Not that that makes it okay, because I asked her what they said, and she was just like, "They said it was 6'7" and 4'2", and I'm like, "Oh, were they making fun of it, or were they just saying
Saying
words,
things,
like just like
yeah.
word vomiting in the way that second grade boys do?" But anyway, then we had our important talk that I feel like she's about the age in which I was like, let's just be very clear that we do not care about the boy's opinion on anything related to aesthetics. Like your
Never.
hair,
Yeah.
how you do your room, your clothes. I was like, let's just be clear about that very right now. Other than the gays, we accept their viewpoints, which I don't know why that is, but they're doing okay. The straight men are not. And yeah, it
It is
was an important
it
conversation.
doesn't really make sense that it does seem to go along with being gay that you also have more of a fashion sense. That's like it doesn't 2 things shouldn't logically go together. But
Yeah.
anyways,
But anyway, as a society,
yeah.
that's what we've decided is that straight men are not allowed to have, thoughtful viewpoints on these matters with a
Yeah.
few exceptions. And so we did have a talk about that, and she's like, "But I thought we loved daddy." And I was like, "We love daddy, we just don't care about his opinions about how anything looks." And indeed, over many years, we have been slowly shaping him in remaking him in our image and slowly filing away in a cardboard box and eventually the trash his, old jorts and cargo shorts, full circle making a reappearance. There were definite cargo shorts in the closet when, we got married, and they've been slowly, I know you're listening, Mr. SJ, making their way into the garbage over the years.
Yeah, I mean, my son says I have a mustache. Like, he doesn't like my how my hair looks right now, and that my
Ugh,
stomach looks like the new person who just moved into the neighborhood who's pregnant.
wool.
Yeah, so we do not listen to men.
Yeah, we do not, including the little ones, apparently.
Yes. Going into men problematic privacy evasion on these things about how ICE agents might be using the apps. Eesh.
Yes, this
And
has
this is
been
Astray. She takes it to heavier places.
I do. I gotta make everything political, but also because it's not even political these days. It's like people watch out for your safety. But there were several people reporting that they were seeing kind of suspicious things on their local dating apps, like guys that were describing their profession as like armed, security, like security contractor, things like that. They were showing in like passport mode where they were like looking on the app was not where they're actually based. There was a lot of people like identifying tattoos on these guys that had like white nationalist kinds of things on them. So there were then people reporting um that ICE agents were using dating apps to like identify women and like on dates were arresting them or detaining them, or just in general that they're using these apps to surveil women. So, this is the serious part of the episode where we live in a time where, seriously, ladies, like think about what kind of information that is out there and not just how it could be used by sleazy guys, but how it could be used by ICE agents. Um, and secondly, cheers for the women. I haven't seen a lot of these posts lately, I think because it's been so intense that this is like not something that most people are willing to post about, but earlier on, I was seeing stuff about women, like, finding these guys that were clearly ICE agents and, like, going on dates with them, but, like, having shitty dates or, like, standing them up and then just, like, sending them mean messages or, I there was some things with, like, women actually, like, doxing and unmasking ICE agents and stuff, but, I would not recommend doing that unless you are, like, very brave because there were some women brought up on federal charges for doxing, so maybe not that, but, definitely some lighthearted harassing that can't be traced back to you, I am all for.
Oh dear. That's so dark. Just the whole idea.
Tell us some good college dating stories, Kay, to bring us back.
um, I'm trying to think. Okay, so if anybody's ever been to Charlottesville, Foxfields is a place that's like heaven on earth. It is their horse races. I went and I met this guy who was just a total stud. And we went back, and this is like when I'm fresh out of college. He was like, wait, I mean, not to like, I don't know how I looked when I was the first year out of college, but I must have looked good.
You must have really had that body hair under
Yeah,
control.
yeah. Well, no, I'm getting there. He was a son because so we went back to my house because he was visiting from a different state, and he looks around, like, my bedroom, and he's like, "Are you a monk? Why do you only have, like, 1 mattress on the floor?" Which, fresh out of college,
Yes.
you understand that you have no belongings.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're
Because
like
your dorm room came with furniture.
yeah, you're like, "I'm getting there, but right now I do indeed only have this 1 mattress." And then when we started hooking up, and he was like, "Ah!" He's like, "Do you wanna, like, go into the bathroom and, like, take care?"
With your hair? Oh, that's so rude.
Well,
I
it
don't
was
care what
okay.
it was, Kay, that's rude.
I actually don't think it was as bad as other times. But
Exactly.
anyways,
That's why it's rude of him.
yeah, that was the story. And the next time that I hooked up when I was in his state, I kinda didn't know. I was like, "Hey, I'm in your state." And he's like, "Ooh, this is really interesting and exciting news. However, I was already talking to a girl at the bar tonight. Would you be interested in a threesome tonight? And that really just like, dating in your 20s is like, it's like, I'm not going to say no to you, but I am going to try to get
He's
another
like,
person.
may I have my cake and eat it too?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I actually shockingly was like, maybe not a threesome with a girl who I haven't met and who hasn't met me yet. So
Gotta do a
I
little vetting on the internet first,
really
just do a
held
little bit
my
of
ground.
Googling. Which I did.
Yeah.
I was talking to Single Sister, and we were talking about how, like, some of these apps, because they do scrape information off of the internet about people, and you're like, on one hand, like, we kind of already do that anyway, right? Like, immediately, whether you're, like, considering dating somebody, also whether you're considering hiring somebody, you immediately go and stalk them on the internet, and if there's anything we can say about millennial women, like, we are internet super sleuths. So I feel like a helpful distinction between the 2 was she was telling me a story of one on the one hand, like, if you don't match with somebody on an app, you don't get any, like, further contact information, and I think she was, like, traveling into a new city. She had seen this guy, but she didn't swipe right to him, just, like, passed him over, and then somehow gets, like, DM'd by him on Instagram
Oh,
anyway, and then it seemed like he had, like, found based on her, like, job and
that's
stuff, like, found
so
her through Facebook
scary.
and then found her on Instagram, and she was like, "Look, I'm taking down, like, a lot of identifying details." But then on the other hand, like, who hasn't stalked? And that just seems like a healthy thing to do, like a guy that you're thinking of going on an
Stalking is
in-person.
fine, but DM messaging is not, and maybe
Then
I should
that's where
have,
I
like
draw the line, is
yeah.
that in the case of stalking a guy before you go on a date together, there's been, like, some mutual indication of interest by both parties, and this was like she had clearly turned him down.
Yeah, and also, like, I'll consider a throuple in my 20s, but only if you call it a throuple.
And only if I have Googled the girl first and found out all of her identifying information and, verified that we are indeed dating the same guy
Yes,
via a
yeah.
Facebook app.
I would be very, very much so like to be dating the same guy with you. Okay. Well, I think that just to wrap it up, safe dating of doing some like pre-vetting of a guy, we support. But sharing details that were very specific to your one-time experience and didn't actually indicate any like truly concerning characteristics of a guy,
I just
I'm
think
gonna
that
friend that.
honestly, we take the Google reviews thing too far. And I even feel that about my general life, where it's like every time I do anything anywhere, they're like, "How was your experience talking to customer support about your package from this thing?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't care. I don't want to write anything." And much like Google reviews, the people who are most incentivized to say something are the people who had a terrible experience. So you're going to get like kind of an
Whenever I
uneven.
had a bad experience that I wanna rate on Google, I then go and I rate, like, 5 things that I loved but didn't take the time to do 5 stars for, and I rate them
I
5
love
to
that
balance it
approach.
out.
I agree. I will almost never give something a bad review on just like a Yelp, Google reviews kind of thing, unless I truly like went through all the steps to try to remedy that and they were just like straight up shitty to me. But if it's like I had an Airbnb, for example, recently that we had a bit of an issue with, like we had some stuff that was not working in the house. The owner did kind of try to fix it, but it seemed like they did not have things very well prepared in advance and like weren't managing it very well. So we did have to go to Airbnb to ask for a refund, but I did not. I just skipped reviewing that house entirely because I was like, otherwise it was lovely. She was obviously trying hard. Like I feel like she was missing out on some key factors of things that needed to be done, but it was like I resolved it between the two of us. And so I'm just not saying
Yeah, it's
anything
just
to
not
the internet
convenient.
because it's like if there's not a red flag of like danger, like this place is like, grifty, then I'm just gonna keep my thoughts to myself. And I think that we should do the same about people that we're dating and just about gossiping about people in general.
Well, beautiful note to end on, and if you're going to review us the same way as to review a
Leave
guy.
5
Yeah,
positive 5-star
yeah,
reviews,
same
all
stuff,
for good
or keep
girls.
your thoughts to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Please don't gossip about
Yeah.
podcasts that you didn't
Yeah.
agree with.
Come on, ethics. Okay. Anyways, have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for listening.
Bye.
Bye.